The former public protector, Professor Thuli Madonsela, has defended her decision to initially refuse to testify before the public protector's impeachment inquiry. Professor Madonsela says her reluctance was based on the fact that the issues advocate Mkhwebane wanted to deal with were already before the courts. Mkhwebane summoned Madonsela on the SAIX and Frieda dairy farm reports. Athi Mtongana is in Parliament and has been following developments where this is concerned. And so, Athi, we have seen some accusations, rather, of the former public protector presenting, according to advocate Dalimpofu, a litany of falsity and the contentious issue of the two affidavits. What's going on?
Yes, Dudu, you will recall that advocate Dalimpofu has from early this morning repeatedly been saying that there are different versions, or at least more than one statement that advocate Thuli Madonsela provided before the Section 194 committee, something that advocate Madonsela is arguing that is not the case. There's been a lot of that back and forth between advocate Dalimpofu and advocate Madonsela, where both of them are accusing each other of talking over the other person while they're trying to make their points. But what advocate Dalimpofu has also been expressing before the committee is the difficulty to get the responses that he has been trying to get from advocate Thuli Madonsela. At some point, even the chairperson asked advocate Thuli Madonsela to be precise in her responses and not to elaborate, which is something that advocate Dalimpofu says he's not requiring at the stage. He even accused the chairperson of being, of bullying him throughout this morning, saying that the issue of the statements is something that it is important before this committee, and it is something that they actually do need to deal with, because there's been questions around whether this is a statement or whether this is an affidavit. And so that's what advocate Dalimpofu has been expressing before the committee, and the issue around the signatures and the initials that were put on the statement, whether the former public protector had actually signed with a commissioner of oath and without a commissioner of oath before signing some of those remarks on the statement. So I'd like us to listen to some of those exchanges that took place.
I therefore apologize if there's a sense that has been given that I was reluctant to appeal. I secondly would like to just place on record that it is not true that the delay was primarily because of arguments about whether CX is spelled with an S as opposed to a C, which was a mistake that the Secretariat could correct me on without lawyers being involved, or that the matters that were the focal point were two instead of one. The crux of the confusion that I was placed in is the fact that the lawyers of Advocate Mkhwebane sent me a litany of questions that when I looked at the charge sheet, I couldn't find any reason whatsoever why I should answer those questions. These matters were not raised. If Advocate Mpofu wanted to raise these issues, he shouldn't be ambushing me right now. He should have raised them last week, and I should have gone for legal representation. He was not prepared to proceed with my affidavit for short notice, but he thinks it's okay to ambush me with issues of legality right now without having even just been sent a written notice of it. Forget about 7 days notice. So
yes. Do you remember me last week saying that we will have to raise issues for this committee regarding these statements which may be referred to the police?
Well, I don't remember you saying that, but if you did say so, I'm still saying it's a point in limine that should have been discussed last week. I was
But nothing was... sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
You're speaking over me.
I'm sorry. Nothing was discussed last week.
But you're speaking over me.
Just allow her to continue to conclude, Advocate Mpofu. Please go ahead, Advocate Madonsela.
So, in essence, this morning, what Advocate Thuli Madonsela has been trying to do is to try and show the Section 194 committee where he sees an issue insofar as the statements or the affidavits, if you may, in relation to the former public protector signing without a commissioner of oaths. And so after this lunch break, we'll continue hearing testimony from the former public protector around the CX and the Fred Dairy Farm report. We're already hearing that the legal representation on behalf of the public protector is asking questions around whether Advocate Thuli Madonsela was vetted or not, and she says she wasn't vetted because former public protectors even before her were not vetted by the state security agency. So that's the kind of questioning that we'll be hearing after the break.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Athi Mtongana.